loudest arenas in the NBA. They are rocking tonight. Playoff start, went from a two-way contract to a start on a nice winning streak prior to game one. And here we go. Tony Brothers, Tyler Ford, Brian Forte, our three officials. Minnesota controls the opening tip. Lone game on the NBA playoff schedule tonight. Let's see what kind of response the Wolves give them. That strip out. Got to get a shot up. Julius Randle guarded by Green. Randle kicks it out to the corner, and the three-pointer is good.
Half for three. They were 0 for 15 in the first half the other night. First time they'd had an 0 from 3 in 7 years and a half.
Here's Brandon Podziemski, misses his first try. Could be a wild card for the Warriors tonight. Jaden McDaniels was 0 for 3 in game one from beyond the arc. There were a lot of 0-fers for the Minnesota Timberwolves in game one. Randle, they clear it out, backing down Butler. Now Conley will let a three fly, and that one goes.
6% from 3 in the playoffs after 41% in the regular season.
Conley missed his 2 three-point tries in game one. Podziemski finds Hield. You'll hear the boos every time Butler touches the basketball as Conley forces a turnover. Edwards on the move. Edwards looking for Gobert. No, he found McDaniels.
Oh, he said they came in through the first punch, played with the edge and identity that we pride ourselves on. So tonight is an opportunity to get our rhythm back on both sides of the ball. 8-0 run to start. Looks like that rhythm's back, guys.
Well, it does, and Chris Finch made the point that he hadn't seen that team. He called them the November Wolves.
Yeah.
That was painful. That's a team that ended November at 9-10. They finished the year 17-4, playing great at both.
Podziemski's face have been familiar customers here. He's got a black eye, Podziemski, under his right eye. That was due to a Gobert elbow in game one. And now Gobert just drops his shoulder.
Have to be. But also, you've got to rotate quickly enough, see the play coming to get into position. That's great off-ball defense by Brandon Podziemski, and it's more than just curve.
McDaniels giving Jimmy Butler all he can handle that trip down the floor. McDaniels, a supreme perimeter defender. Here's Edwards, got caught in the air, and now post guards Randle. This will be a matchup to watch tonight. McDaniels has already hit 1 3. Podziemski on him. Warriors a very good defensive team, especially when they got Jimmy Butler. And it's a 10-0 start. Better start for the Wolves. Warriors only trailed by 4 in game one, and they're down 10 here in the first 2.5 minutes of this game. Buddy Hield turned away, resets, missed it. And now it is the Warriors who cannot buy one. They are 0 for 4.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Not having Steph Curry affects their offense.
It's a big problem.
They pay me for this kind of expert analysis.
You noticed that on the scouting report, did you? Randle just bullies his way. Had that big game 5 that knocked the Lakers out. The former Laker had a terrific run in round 1 after a so-so game 1 against the Lakers. He was excellent.
They need a lot more out of Jimmy Butler. There's absolutely no question about that. But with Steph Curry out, now Jaden McDaniels, one of the best perimeter defenders, like you said, in the league, goes on Jimmy Butler. Last game, he opened on Curry, and Randle had to guard.
And by all accounts, it will be. Doesn't figure to be a series. That'll be a sweep. As Mike Conley misses the three-point try, it's out of bounds. And that is the first missed three-pointer by the Wolves. Podziemski pushes. And now Draymond directing traffic.
Well, that's what he does best.
Moses Moody, Gary Payton II, first off the bench for Kerr tonight. And now Podziemski kicks it to that corner for Payton. He misses a 3. And Edwards tips it to Gobert. That was a good look, but a miss nonetheless. Conley drives it. Gobert inside and
pass right at them. In traffic, your vision and everything, not easy to catch.
Payton, an excellent defender, out on Edwards, who gets a step. Edwards, wow, what a move. He missed it. Here comes Podziemski. Jimmy Butler, and now Podziemski will let it fly. Three-pointer, no good. Podziemski has missed twice. That we have seen in the playoffs, and Minnesota's not hiding from that, but as Lauren reported, Chris Finch does not want his players, did not want his players just marking that off as a poor shooting game. He felt like they didn't do anything well. They didn't move well. Their rotations were poor. Their spacing was poor. Jimmy Butler for three. That line drive is good. And the first basket.
5 minutes in almost before they get a score.
Randall guarded by Butler. Randall moves him. Comes up short.
That's great defense by Jimmy Butler.
Steve Kerr made no bones knowing what you're losing in Stephen Curry, but also reminded us that the Warriors defense has been a big reason why they've been on this surge since they acquired Butler. It has changed the complexion of their team. As Butler turns it over, look at Gobert trying to go coast to coast, and he lost it.
They call that delusional confidence.
Gobert gets it back, missed it. That was a mess of a fast break opportunity for the Wolves.
Well, and that's one of the things Chris Finch talked about pregame, is he felt the other night they had transition opportunities and were extremely inefficient in transition, and we see an example of that there.
Butler, mid-range jumper up and over 50 here. It's his fourth full season. Came in as an assistant elsewhere. You don't really see that to become a head coach on another franchise. He's done a great job. 4 straight playoff appearances for Finch and the Wolves, and they were in the Western Conference Finals against Dallas a year ago. Conley turns it over. Here goes Moses Moody, and Moses Moody, oof, tough in there. He was just uncertain what he wanted to do, and he fired. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Chuck. I always enjoy watching Chuck read along with Kenny while he's speaking.
Absolutely.
So my favorite part of that promo.
So we're 6.5 minutes into this game, BA, and the Warriors do not have a starter on the floor.
Dante DiVincenzo, coming off that minute, told us before the game he's got his hyena package set up for tonight's game. The guys who come off the bench, he's going to go starterless and see if he can get a burst if needed. He's got him out there a little earlier than he thought as DiVincenzo misses. A couple of opportunities there for Minnesota, and they're struggling now after a fast start. And Spencer taking it to the hole.
Challenge to get out of that.
That's valid. He is successful. He does still have one left, but forced to use it. Give McDaniels a block on that too. And Minnesota has possession, missing their last 7 shots. Edwards going to work.
Edwards out of the paint. But I have no idea.
Next line, Kia, the official automotive partner of the NBA. Sir, getting some early playing time in this first quarter. And Spencer turns it over. Edwards on the run with DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo to Naz Reid. First minutes on the floor, and he misses. And DiVincenzo runs it down. Great effort. Naz Reid again. Naz Reid hits it this time.
Find other ways to help your team win. You saw it right there, getting them an extra possession that was worth 3 points.
Then a 6 seed in the NBA playoffs.
Well, no question.
Randall came back from injury after he missed all of February, and then they were a different team after that. Got on a hot streak, got out of that play-in, and ended up with the 6 seed to take on the 3 seed Lakers in round 1. Edwards again drives, missed it. Gobert is there for a putback. It was Rudy Gobert who had that monster game 5, the closeout game against the Lakers. 27 points, 24 rebounds.
Yeah, 9 of them offensive. He's got to make his size a factor against a very small Golden State team. For the Warriors, made by anyone other than Jimmy Butler, they were 0 for 9 before that.
Naz Reid finds himself open, missed it. DiVincenzo offensive board. Edwards got a 3.
Watch Steven.
We've started to. We're much better final couple of minutes after that slow start. So just got to keep moving and keep moving the ball and moving bodies and see if we can do it.
Steve, appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is their worst quarter, and Steve Kerr knows the challenge that's in front of him. Is Draymond Green, first possession of the second quarter. Misses the 3, secured by Randall. Wolves are hungry tonight, no question. They need a win before this series goes to Chase Center in San Francisco. They'll continue to play every other day through game 5, which means the Warriors will go 10 consecutive games of every other day. It is a tough task for Golden State as Alexander Walker gets to the basket once again with a left hand.
Well, and that's where he's strongest. Alexander Walker's right-handed, but much more comfortable going left on the drive than going to his right.
Warriors got their shooting a little more organized. They started 0 for 8. They're 6 of their last 10. But 5 turnovers.
The Warriors 5 turnovers and they've given up.
The Wisconsin native, second-year player out of Santa Clara after a year at Illinois. Podziemski hits them both. 31-17 our score. Early stages of this second quarter.
And Kevin Knox becomes the 12th Warrior into the game in 13 minutes. And Trace Jackson-Davis is up at the scorers table, will become the 13th Warrior to get into the game already early second quarter.
The zone gives the Wolves a little trouble there.
Absolutely. The Warriors defense, you look at the numbers, it's been fine. They've got to rebound the ball better. They've got to take care of the ball better.
And Draymond Green, this is not too different than what the Warriors were doing early in the season before the Butler trade. They've already used 5 different starting lineups. That's all in the last 7 games. Podziemski got caught in the air. Good defense that time. And Knox comes away with a rebound.
Wow, Trace Jackson-Davis doing a great job keeping it alive. One of the best offensive rebounders in the league. Fell out of the Warriors' rotation. But when it comes to getting on the glass, he's as good as anybody. Wow. This season, after the Butler trade, without Steph Curry. They beat Milwaukee at Milwaukee, but then lost at Atlanta and got blown out in Miami. That's the experience this group has without Steph Curry.
Gobert gets inside. The Warriors can fight their way back in this thing, but if it does now, Coach.
Well, we saw an indication of what he might do in Game 5 of the Houston series when the Warriors were getting blown out. He pulled everybody halfway through the third quarter and didn't bring them back in.
Gobert misses them both.
Well, he's under 50% now in the playoffs, 10 for 22.
Jackson Davis out of Indiana University. Buddy Hield pulls a tough 3. That's an air ball. Force that one. Hield knows he is the primary scorer on the floor right now. Naz Reid goes to the basket. Oh, wow, what a finish.
NBA players have gotten so good now with that deceleration move, slowing down and being able to basically stop on one foot. On making his case. He's not only the leader of their defense, he's the hub of their offense. He's their facilitator, if you will.
Steve Kerr, when all of that was going on, was immediately calling on Jimmy Butler, asking if he was ready.
Now, can Minnesota find better shots against this zone, which has baffled them a little bit here in these first 2 games?
Naz Reid fakes it, leaves it, and a deflection ends up in a Minnesota turnover.
Well, we've seen Gobert already have trouble catching 2 passes. One a straight line pass at his waist, and the other one a bounce pass. You've got to feed 7-footers above their shoulders.
Strong basket by Trace Jackson-Davis with Gobert lurking. Anthony Edwards back on the floor, finds Alexander Walker. Walker probing. That was deflected.
For this series, Steve Kerr told me he plays with emotion and competitive fire. That's what makes him great, but it can work against him as well. If he can channel that and not get baited, we're going to be in a really good spot. And also, guys, talked to Coach Izzo before Game 7, and they had a heart-to-heart about how he needs to keep his composure throughout this entire second-round series as well.
Can't afford to lose Draymond Green as well with those technicals starting to stack up, and he was dangerously close to getting another one, which would have put him 1 away from a suspension.
Well, Steph Curry and Steve Kerr did a great job of keeping Draymond Green. A welcome sight for him. He's now only...
And Minnesota up 36-19. Wolves have turned those 8 turnovers into 7 points. Jackson Davis with the rebound.
Well, here's the thing. They're up 17 points, and they're not shooting the ball well, Minnesota. It's not like they're lighting up this Warrior defense. The problem is the Warriors can't solve Minnesota's defense without Steph Curry.
Edwards swipes, gets the steal on Spencer. Line, you don't get to where
you feel like they've got to get one of these next 3, BA, keep the series even. Hopefully he can be back in Game 5. and then make your run at it in a 3-game series, even though 2 of them would be on the road.
Well, if he survived to game 6 if you're Golden State, you will finally get out of this every other day run. As Podziemski 6, those 3 days off between, they go every other day in all of the other games. And we don't know if Stephen Curry is going to be able to return. They're going to reevaluate him in a week, Lauren reported. That'll be prior to game 5 as Jackson Davis gets a block on Edwards. And Edwards is down, grabbing at his left ankle. Playing 5-on-4 here. Gobert gets caught in the air and assisting Amp game 2.
It certainly has. And you know, you saw the concern on Steph Curry's face. These guys all want to beat each other, but none of these players wants to see another player get hurt.
Changes things dramatically for the Wolves, just as the Curry injury changes things for the Warriors. And Randall right away able to knock down that mid-range jumper.
Yeah, he loves that shot, going right, stepping back. Most guys much better on the step back going to their weekend.
Wolves lead is 19, 5.5 to go in the half, and Jackson Davis does.
A minute ago, that's the pass he wanted from Brandon Podziemski.
Moses Moody trying to check Randall, giving up some size. Randall gives it up. DiVincenzo, that's good.
3, now 7 for 34 in the playoffs, just barely over 20%.
He was electric in the playoffs for the Knicks last year. He shot the 3 ball so well, up over 40%, and shot it at 40% through the regular season. Podziemski gets to his strong hand, the left hand, able to score it off the glass. DiVincenzo lost the handle, turns it over. Jackson Davis finds a guard. This building is quiet right now. No doubt Anthony Edwards on the minds of these Timberwolves fans here. Podziemski misses a 3. He's had some good looks. Podziemski 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. And now McDaniels gets the shooter's bounce off the front iron. Minnesota back 20.
Yeah, McDaniels has been so good for this team in the playoffs. Really all year, but in the playoffs, really has stepped up.
Butler. And into the hands of Gobert. DiVincenzo to Julius Randle, the 2 former Knicks. Randle just backing down. Moody spins and scores.
Night for either team.
Butler finds Moody. Moody continues his shooting woes. Been a struggle for Moses Moody. Went scoreless in game 1.
Yeah, and scoreless in game 7 of the Houston series. He was averaging over 11 points a game through the first 6 games and is 0 for 12 since then.
0 for 3 tonight. 2 of those misses from 3-point range. Kuminga, little mid-range, and it's going to fall.
Same ankle that he tweaked in game 4 of the last round against the Lakers in a collision with LeBron. So good for fans everywhere, NBA fans, that he's good to go.
Thanks, Lauren. First possession of the second half is a Jimmy Butler layup. So without Edwards on the floor, the Wolves went +1 in the scoring column without him. Now they get him back. 56-41. The lead is 15. A 3-pointer is in and out.
We see Kuminga in the starting lineup here in the second half instead of Quentin Post.
Again, Jaden McDaniels picks up Jimmy Butler. They get the switch, and now Draymond Green for 3. Comes up short. Draymond got a technical, dead ball technical in the first half. Same starting 5 on the floor for the second half as we have seen through all these playoff games for the Wolves. That's a turnover. Podziemski forced it, and now
discourage it even more.
So now the Warriors down 14 with the ball. And Curry tweaking his starting lineup. The follow by Hield. He can't get it to go. McDaniels hounded, and Buddy Hield coming out of this halftime locker room with a little bit of a run. They're down 14. Minnesota's biggest lead was 22. And Draymond Green wide open for 3, misses.
Well, Draymond Green's going to be open for 3 a lot, being guarded by Rudy Gobert. He's going to keep going to protect the rim. and they'll live with Draymond Green. He made 4 threes in the first half of game 1, but you got to pick what you're willing to live with.
Here's Mike Conley from 3. Conley, that was true. Beautiful stroke. And Mike Conley knocks in another 3-pointer. That's his second. Saw Gobert kind of grabbing at his eye. That missed shot by Green glanced off the rim and hit Gobert. He's struggling with it right now as Kuminga shut off, and there's McDaniels. A long reach of Jaden McDaniels with a steal. And now Randall as Kuminga. Podziemski pushes it. Here's Kuminga exploding to the basket.
Turnovers after Minnesota turns it over down there. Actually 10 turnovers for Golden State.
Julius Randle working with Edwards here. Conley finds Randle wide open for 3, short. Podziemski with a rebound. Here comes Kuminga. Edwards picks up Green, now Hield finds Butler, wide open for 3, Butler hits. Well, breakdown defensive.
Well, Warriors cut it to 12, and again, they've got to do it with their defense.
Edwards all the way to the cup, missed it. Gobert is there. He is
for a great start to the playoffs in the first 4 games of that Lakers series. He has struggled on the offensive end. He's done a lot of other good things, rebounded, had some assists, steals, blocked shot tonight, but getting the ball in the basket has been difficult for Anthony Edwards.
Butler, Gobert guards him, Butler. Shot fake, not there. Hield with McDaniels on him. That's a tough guy to shake. Long 2. McDaniels forces it into a difficult jump shot. McDaniels having a great game. Got 3 blocks, a couple of steals. Now he spins and hangs and scores off one leg. Jaden McDaniels has been a beast defensively. Kuminga gets it deep. McDaniels has increased his scoring significantly here in the playoffs. He reevaluated in a week with a grade 1 hamstring injury. Butler caps off a 3-point trip. We got a 12-point game here. Jimmy has 8 in the quarter. Here's Conley now. Finds Naz Reid, open shooter, and he misses. Warriors on a run. They've had an excellent third quarter. Butler and Podziemski, 2-man game. Now Conley on Butler. It's a matchup they want. They clear it out. Butler picked up his dribble. And now 6 to shoot. Kuminga gets a step on Gobert and dunks it down on Gobert.
Kuminga 7 for 7 from the floor in 13 minutes.
And a turnover. Podziemski up ahead. Finds Buddy Hield in the corner. Cash! Naz Reid, one of the few that shot it well from beyond the arc in game 1. He made 4 threes. Podziemski drives, kicks, Kuminga, 3-pointer, good!
Kuminga, 17 points on 8 for 8 from the floor. The only thing he's missed is 2 free throws.
He's had some monster scoring games this season. Here's DiVincenzo in the corner, and Randle set him up nice.
Wow, I tell you what, if they could get back Dante DiVincenzo to what he normally does as a shooter, it would mean a lot for the playoff hopes of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Green missed it, and Edwards picks it off the rim for the rebound. Now the Wolves up 10, can add to it. Here's McDaniels, cut off, takes a tough shot, and Podziemski with the board. Again, the Warriors can get it back to single digits. As we approach the 5-minute mark, Podziemski taking on Edwards, and he turns it over. He got stuck. McDaniels brings it in.
During the regular season, 4th in 3-point percentage. In these last 5 games, it's just been a struggle.
Warriors had cut it to 7, and now down 12. This is an 8-3 Minnesota run. Late clock, Butler, tough shot, front iron, Edwards secures it. And Minnesota can add to their lead. Pat Spencer back on the floor. Steve Kerr's played 13 players. DiVincenzo left open. And Spencer and Reed. Edwards. The pull by. Edwards drives. And it's great to see Anthony Edwards back on the floor after that ankle injury. Missed it. The rebound. And DiVincenzo can't get the bounce. Jimmy Butler secures it this time. Two good looks at it for the Wolves. Minnesota up 13. And they were up 13 quickly to start this game.
And DiVincenzo grabs him for the foul.
Next one by the Wolves will put the Warriors at the line. McDaniels picks up Jimmy Butler. Jackson Davis, and now Moody. Late clock here, down to 2. Moody's got to put up a 3, does so, and it's an air ball. McDaniels might have got a piece of that, and McDaniels runs the floor and hammers it down.
Jaden McDaniels getting it done at both ends.
8-0 Minnesota run after the Warriors got it within 7, and DiVincenzo able to deflect that one. Another late clock scenario here for Golden State. Down to 2. Moody's got to let it go again. And no chance with Edwards on it. The burst by Minnesota. Just as the Warriors were tightening the screws in this game. Randall, flurry of moves. Alexander Walker with the flyby. Resets. Hits a 3. Nikhil out his stroke again. His second made 3.
It's great to see for them the ball over 13, 14 times now in the game.
5 turnovers in the quarter for the Warriors. Spencer trying to guard Randall. He fires one to the hot hand. No good. That Spence done a great job here in Minnesota. Took him to the Western Conference Finals a year ago. Got him into the second round once again. And Draymond Green at 20 as we open up play in the 4th.
Well, and Steve Kerr going with the same 5 guys he started the second half with. Same 5 guys he started the second half with. I think he'll give it a few minutes, see if the Warriors can make a run, and if they can't, they will live to fight another day.
Now reset for game 3, which will be at Chase Center in San Francisco on Saturday. That'll be Saturday night. Draymond Green inside and puts it in.
Great job by Podziemski giving Draymond Green time to seal inside against DiVincenzo. There was no pressure on the ball whatsoever, and he was able to throw that pass from his waist.
Naz Reid misses a 3. Kuminga up ahead. Jimmy Butler running with DiVincenzo, looking for help.
Not sure why Jimmy Butler doesn't try to score that.
Draymond Green for 3. Comes up short, and it'll be Minnesota ball. The next game this early in the stages, but to your point, Stan, the travel, the every other day rhythm of the Warriors, grinding through a tough 7-game series with the Rockets. I think Steve Kerr is fully aware. If Gobert hammers one down to a striking number, they're going to have to punt and get ready for game 3. Butler inside is over a couple of times. And at the end, ABC has the doubleheader Saturday, Square Garden, and then the Wolves and the Warriors from San Francisco. Naz Reid gets a step on Butler. And Alexander Walker now drives, hangs, finds Reid. Reid got it in the corner. Great ball. Warriors go quick after the made basket. And the Wolves get back. Kuminga passed up a 3.
Great closeout by Anthony Edwards. He did a great job staying on the floor.
And Kuminga misses a 3 that time, an open look.
And all 3 bench guys from Minnesota have made 3 threes tonight.
Alexander Walker again. Now DiVincenzo. How about that catch and shoot, but an air ball. Maybe too quick. He had a crowd around him. Green driving on Gobert and gets the roll.
Wow, that's a great coast-to-coast drive and a tough finish over a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Gobert sitting on those 4 fouls. Edwards behind the back, gets to his left hand. Edwards puts it in. He needed that.
Over the last 2 games.
Buddy Hield for three. Good. Hield hits another.
Bench upset with that. If you're Anthony Edwards, who's a great shooter like Hield, you got to stay attached to his body, chase him, almost force him to curl into the paint.
And now Hield with a steal. And a foot race, he's going to back it up. He's going to fire a three in transition. No, Podziemski is there with a Warriors once again. Podziemski's got 6, his 4th rebound. 8-0 Golden State run. 4 minutes into this 4th quarter. Edwards. And
he did not want to overplay Green and Butler in particular.
Draymond Green 29 minutes, Butler's played 30 minutes. And Alexander Walker lays it in.
Not sure that Trace Jackson Davis is aware that Nickeil Alexander-Walker would much rather go to his left hand. He's been on him twice, and both times it seems to me like he's actually forcing him to his left hand.
Inside, two-handed jam for Jimmy Butler. He's got 17 now, 17 and 7. And Butler's chipped in with 4 assists as well. Three-pointer no good. McDaniels runs down the rebound. And a foul is
not a foul.
Yeah, I'm with you. They've been a lot more physical than that. But Edwards does hit the free throws, and Minnesota leads it by 19. Wolves trying to even up this series as they go to San Francisco Saturday. And a win tonight by Minnesota. If they hang on here, it'll guarantee at least a Game 5 right back here at Target Center next Wednesday, and we'll have it for you right here on TNT. Podziemski, quick release on the three, and he finally hits one. Point range before that made. Basket.
They need a more aggressive Jimmy Butler. He's driving the ball laterally across the lane looking to pass. They need Jimmy Butler to look to score and then to pass if he draws 2 guys.
Delivers his 2nd made 3.
Well, they need to get him going if they're going to go far in the playoffs. He had a great start. But
he is one of the emerging stars in this league. Went to a conference finals a year ago. Was a gold medalist at the Olympics. Team USA, coached by Kerr.
Gold medal run. Steph said in games he's for a dull moment. And LeBron James also described Edwards as the best thing about our team. Really thinks he learned a lot, Ant did, from being around guys like LeBron, like Steph, about routine, how to take care of your body. And he's seen his leadership grow this.
The notion, and Stan, you'll have to dissect this for us, but his ability to watch those guys and how they shared the basketball. He is the star of this Minnesota team, the guy you build a franchise around, the face of the franchise, but the high volume can take you back-to-back conference finals.
Yeah, this team has already surpassed the Garnett years in terms of playoff series won.
4 consecutive playoffs for the Wolves. 8 playoffs, but they had 6 consecutive first-round exits before they made it. He's having some trouble. He took that rebound off the head early. Hangs in the rafters.
One of the most liked and highly respected coaches in this league. And there's your answer for Steve Kerr. 4 guys getting up, and we're going to take the last 5 minutes off. Jimmy Butler, Buddy Hield, Brandon Podziemski.
Got to put Butler around 33, 34 minutes. Podziemski 33 minutes. And Buddy Hield knocks in one last three-pointer. 15 for Buddy Hield, who has found his shooting stroke the last 3 games.
You aren't kidding.
Had that monster Game 7 in Houston, scored 33 points, made 9 threes in that game.
Well, he's now made 18 in the last 3 games. An incredible run.
Minnesota came out and handled business tonight. No Stephen Curry for at least a week. And now the Warriors will try to do all they can on their home turf. They'll put some pressure on the Wolves as Anthony Edwards, strong finish, looking for the foul.
Anthony Edwards is acting like he doesn't know we're in the playoffs with the fouls he's expecting to get. Those are all soft contact.
Julius Randle out ahead of the pack.
just point out that the Detroit Tigers have the best record in the American League.
Nice.
Finishing off a sweep of the hapless Colorado Rockies today with a doubleheader victory.
Twins won today, by the way, beat the Orioles 5-2.
Orioles, probably the most disappointing team in Major League Baseball right now, coming off a couple of playoff seasons and just haven't been able to get it going at all.
Well, the TBS has the National League this year in the playoffs. Stand as Alexander Walker hits a three. You want to put your predictions out there? Who we're going to see in the NL? Have to go before you mention the Brewers.
No, that's not happening, BA. I'm sorry.
Come on.
Really sorry.
Yeah.
Really sorry.
Going to surprise you again. So the bench empties for Chris Finch as well. Great hand as the starters with an ankle injury came back, played in his normal rotation in the second half. And he and Randall were excellent tonight. Randall 24, Edwards with 20. As Alexander Walker gets a couple of bites at it. You got Alexander Walker, Shannon, Minot, Clark, and Miller on the floor for the Wolves with Moody, Spencer, Santos, Knox, and Key. And the end of the bench getting an opportunity to compete in a playoff game. Take advantage of it when you can.
And I think great thing for the Wolves tonight, great sign, is that DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, Naz Reid all knocking down shots. They need those guys going. They rely on them for their offense coming off the bench.
It was Key, nice little hesitation. The Minnesota three-point shooting was abysmal in this. Would miss 16 straight three-pointers in game 1. Too serious. He looked normal coming back in that second half.
Well, quite honestly, if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, and if you're a fan of the Timberwolves, you got to look at this as a must-win series. You're going to get to play a minimum of 3.5.
And the last time Curry was at 16.
Yeah, but that's back like 2018. You've got Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson in his prime.
Yeah.
You got enough offense to get by, and the Warriors' defense has always been elite. Jalen Clark had a very difficult possession there, to say the least.
Key not letting up at all. And neither is Shannon. Shannon on a breakaway, and he scores.
BA player.
Had a great run in the Big Ten.
Chris Finch, 8-man rotation. They've been healthy. And so coming down these last 21 games and into the playoffs, they haven't had to go any deeper than that.
But a Minot with an acrobat. Wolves had that great surge after Randall came back, really since March 1st. On the road as well. Remember, Lakers had home court advantage as a 3 seed in that series. And that did not faze the Wolves. Shannon going to work here, and the lefty missed it. There's Miller.
His coaching staff have great confidence in him.
See Luka Garza on the floor as well. 40 seconds left. Ernie Johnson and crew standing by in Atlanta. Only one game tonight. Early night for those guys. Party at Chuck's. Don't say that. There's always a party at Chuck's house. Thanks to our great crew here, led in the truck by producer Jeff Randolph, our director Matt Lipp, our statistician is in the video room, and Knox takes it away, takes that away from him.
Well, you and I will be back here for Game 5 next Wednesday, which is now assured.
Now we turn it over to ABC and ESPN for the next 2 in San Francisco. We'll be back for Game 5. And we'll see where this series goes, minus Stephen Curry. The Minnesota Timberwolves come back with an answer and a response in Game 2, and they win it.